Category 5 Hurricane Melissa approaches Jamaica today with life-threatening impacts. It'll also bring significant impacts to other islands down the road. All the newest information you need to know starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi everyone, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. We are your home for Caribbean weather. I hope you're doing well on this Monday. Obviously, this is a different kind of video. We have very important information to pass along to our friends in Jamaica and other areas that will be directly impacted by Category 5 Hurricane Melissa. As always, Meteo Mundo is sponsored by the lead law firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. They offer free consultation and policy reviews. Friends, go to leanombilaw.com for more information. So let's get into what's happening with the storm right now. And unfortunately, the news continues to not be good for Jamaica and other areas. Melissa has just continued to grow late Thursday night and through this Friday late morning hours as a significant, powerful Category 5 hurricane. Winds right now are up to 165 miles an hour. This is the visible satellite imagery. Of course, we don't have that right at the beginning of the day, but this is a monster hurricane which continues to slowly drift west with that turn to the north just beginning to happen. This is the newest information as of the 11 a.m. advisory from the Hurricane Center. Again, it's a Category 5. Sustained winds are 165 miles an hour. Pressure continues to plummet all the way down to 908 millibars. I can't stress how strong this storm is right now. It is still creeping along west at 3 miles an hour, located 145 miles to the southwest of Kingston, Jamaica. The hurricane warning continues for Jamaica and southeast Cuba. A hurricane watch is now in effect for the southern and central sides of the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos. A tropical storm warning for southern Haiti and the Cuban province of Las Tunas. We'll talk about the impacts for these areas coming up. Obviously, this storm is going to continue to be significant and a significant life-threatening catastrophic event for Jamaica, portions of southeast Cuba, and it could still be near a major hurricane status over the central and southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos as we get into our Wednesday as well. As far as the track, everything is on from what we looked at yesterday, and unfortunately that turn to the north is expected to start very shortly, continue through the rest of Monday and into Tuesday. The Google DeepMind model has a direct landfall on Jamaica on Tuesday. Only one of the 50 ensemble members has it just brushing the western coastline, but all of this plot and track is expected to bring significant major hurricane impacts to Jamaica, starting as early as late tonight and especially overnight through the day on Tuesday. We can clearly see the eye of Category 5 Melissa on the Jamaican radar. 10 mile wide eye, very classic major hurricane. Again, the strongest part of the storm is on the now northeast side, and now we're beginning to see these sustained tropical storm conditions beginning to move into the southern coastal provinces, including Kingston and St. Catherine and St. Thomas and Clarendon, and all of that will just continue to spread to the north and to the east as we go through the remainder of the day. Unfortunately now, the forecast does have Melissa making landfall as a Category 5. To be quite honest, there's not much of a difference practically to whether this storm makes landfall in Jamaica as a Category 4 or as a Category 5. Unfortunately, the catastrophic damage is likely to be about the same. Hurricane force winds extend out 30 miles from the center. Tropical storm conditions extend out 200 miles from the center. Melissa is an extremely large, powerful hurricane. It basically swallows Jamaica as far as size goes. So we are going to see significant impacts across the island. Again, the weather in Jamaica will just go downhill throughout our Monday. We're already starting to see some strong breezes move in. Montego Bay has had a 40-mile-an-hour wind gust. We're starting to see some significant surf conditions and swells beginning to approach the southern coastline. Now, As far as the arrival of tropical storm force sustained winds that's 39 miles an hour or greater, that is likely to just continue to move in through this Monday and encompass the entire island by about midnight tonight. That will then spread into southeast Cuba through the day on Tuesday and into the southern central Bahamas and Turks and Caicos early on Wednesday morning, potentially as far north as the northern Bahamas, but much more concern about the wind impacts with the storm in the central and southeast Bahamas. So this is kind of a rough estimate of the timing of the hurricane force winds. Again, the storm is moving very slowly right now, still at 3 miles an hour. That turn to the north later today, and then a turn northeast tonight. The storm should accelerate as it finds a weakness in an area of high pressure to the north. That's why it's forecast to move this way in all the models and from the Hurricane Center track as well. So again, timing of hurricane force winds likely to arrive on the southern coast of Jamaica late on this Monday and through the overnight hours, and then progress through the island early on Tuesday, exiting the island to the north on late Tuesday afternoon. So this is the time of the most intense weather with Melissa moving into the island. Now, when we look at what's happening right now, again, the core of the storm is still about 100 miles offshore, and it's still moving west, but we'll start to see just a little bit of a turn north in just that last couple of frames. So unfortunately, again, if we're looking for a scenario where we don't have a direct impact to the island, that is becoming less and less likely. Again, on these tropical spaghetti plot models, you're going to get a couple of rogue outliers. Unfortunately, even compared to yesterday, the tropical models that were just on the western coastline or just offshore west of Jamaica have come back closer to the center line from the hurricane center, and all within this cone of uncertainty from the Negril to the Kingston area. So again, it is highly probable and likely that we get a direct landfall from Melissa early on Tuesday in Jamaica. The timing is still a little bit up in the air. Could be as early as around midnight, could be as late as around daybreak or even mid-morning tomorrow. I'll be monitoring that situation. Now, you guys know I'm going to be live coming up later today. The other thing that we have here is we're going to have some live reports across the island. We continue to see the swells pick up here. Let's check in with our friend Justin in the Treasure Beach area for the latest from what's happening this morning.
Okay, Monday, October 27th, Great Bay Treasure Beach. The time is 8 a.m. It's definitely getting loud outside now. The waves are definitely much bigger, more frequent waves as well. I would say about an extra 2 feet of sand has been brought up the beach and dumped. Let's have a look. Okay. Yeah, the frequency of the waves are definitely picking up here.
Boy, that storm is still again 100 miles away from the Treasure Beach area, and you can see already some of the, inundation of water and that approaching and going farther up the coastline, and you mentioned the sand movement already. Now we're going to go a little bit farther to the east, to the Old Harbor area, just west of the Kingston area. Let's check in with the Camlin family and the latest there.
So our time to leave now, guys. Watch out, the water reach in at the HQ. And we are leave now. We are take the warning.
The white house never real, guys.
You see, we take a video, come, make we go on home, go lock up. Better be safe than sorry. So guys, the water reaching at the HQ already. So we are leave and go to higher ground. We are going at the Airbnb. Watch ya. Watch ya. Tell me, but. You what? How what? Me not looking on.
Friends, first of all, I appreciate the Cameron family for sending in that video, allowing us to use it. But you get the idea that in the Old Harbor area, with that water already streaming in like that, and again, just at the beginning of what this storm is going to bring storm surge wise, 9 to 13 feet in that area, you understand why I'm very concerned about residents along the coastline in the inundation of water. Again, 9 to 13 feet of storm surge with some waves on top of that as well. Now let's go on to the Kingston area, to the Palisades, again, just east of Kingston. Our friend Alex, who was across the island yesterday covering the weather for us here, has a report as well on this Monday morning. Alex?
Hey, Rusty and guys over at Meteo Mundo. It's October 27th, it's Monday, and I'm down by Palisado. You can see the weather dome over there. That's the airport. You see that we still have the same storm surge coming in. Not sure if you can hear me with the wind. We've been getting tropical storm gusts so far. A few trees down, light poles here and there. Nothing major yet.
Okay, appreciate Alex, the Cameron family, and Justin for bringing us those video updates from the southern side of the island on this Monday. Again, we're going to have some live coverage of the storm on Jamaica coming up during our live stream later today. But again, this video update to get everyone prepared. Again, you saw the wave action in the breakers already with the storm, which is still well offshore. Anywhere east of this center, especially in the Old Harbor, Kingston area, where we're going to have the onshore flow on the east side of the center of circulation, if this is the track, right, if it's farther off towards the west, where we have it from the hurricane center, all of that is going to be onshore winds the entire time. The storm surge could be a little bit less on the western side of the island, but that being said, a significant wall of water is likely to come with the storm. So friends on Jamaica, this is what you need to know. Catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding is likely to occur across the entire island. We're also going to get a significant life-threatening storm surge along the southern coastline. Unfortunately, the winds that we expect with this storm, again, Cat 4, Cat 5, unfortunately, the impacts are about the same infrastructure-wise, is going to be extensive and devastating. Long duration power and communication outages are likely island-wide. That could be for days or if not even weeks for some areas. This rain will lead to landslides and mudslides. If you live in some of the hillier areas, interior western sides, and you live in some of the low-lying areas there, please be very aware of the amount of water that could stream into those low-lying areas. That is likely to wash away roads, and that could lead to isolation of communities. Again, not just for days, but for potentially weeks in some areas. So when we look at the impacts from the storm on the east side of the island, again, sustained winds that could be 130 to 160 miles up to 30 miles or more east of the center, even into St. Thomas and Portland parishes. We are likely to get significant tropical storm and some hurricane gusts, even if we're 50 to 60 miles from the storm, all right? Wind impacts are likely for Port Antonio and the Morant Bay area. They'll just be worse the farther west that you go. Up towards Ocho Rios and Port Maria, still looking at 120 to 140 mile an hour winds as the storm moves across the island on Tuesday. 15 to 30 inches of rain, potentially up to 40 maximum, but a lot of spots 15 to 30 inches of rain. So, 375 to 750 millimeters in a lot of spots, a maximum of 1,000 millimeters. That is hard to fathom, falling over the island. On the western side of the island, 10 to 20 inches of rain, locally up to 25. This is still extremely significant. Center western side of the island, again, west of the center, 120 to 140 mile an hour winds. Northwest sides, portions of St. James and Hanover parishes, Montego Bay, Lucy area, still significant 90 to 120 mile an hour winds expected. West of the Eyefall, storm surge of 6 to 9 feet likely, could even be higher. And again, that doesn't account for the wave action that's also going to be coming in with the storm. This is just the wall of water that's going to be moving in. When we look at the rainfall totals in inches here on the European model, the maximum has come down a bit, but we're still at 25 inches. And a lot of that covers portions of Jamaica. So this is going to be a very significant storm across Jamaica for a variety of reasons, into the southeast sides of Cuba, central and the southeast sides of the Bahamas as well. Just a significant rainfall maker, especially through Cuba. Once it accelerates, it's not going to have as much rain impacts in the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos as it moves faster away, but the wind impacts are likely to be still very significant there. Now, looking at the wave heights and directions, again, you're going to have some 20 to 25 foot waves just offshore. This is tonight, but I show you this because of all of the onshore flow east of the center of circulation, right? So just the wave action that is going to be battering the coastline with the landfall, with the storm surge coming in, you add all of that up, and the inundation of water is likely to be historic in some spots on Jamaica. Unfortunately, my friends, this storm is likely to bring historic, catastrophic conditions to the island that we haven't seen even from some of the other significant hurricanes that we've had across the island. And again, the pressure is all the way down to, I think, 908 millibars right now. We don't want that storm to be moving inland with a number that starts with an 8. And while there are some fluctuations likely with the intensity of the storm over the next 24 hours, it is not likely to lose enough strength to, again, have appreciable impacts to what we expect across the island. That is what's forecast to happen across Jamaica. I do want to take a minute and mention our other areas. For southeast Cuba, we have a hurricane warning. Melissa is likely to move in late Tuesday overnight into Wednesday morning as a Category 3, weakening to a Category 2, but still very significant impacts for places like Santiago de Cuba and the Guantanamo area. Then you have your hurricane watch as far north as Cat Island in the Bahamas, with more significant impacts expected in the southeast Bahamas, places like the Acklins, Bayaguata, Matthewtown, Turks and Caicos, and of course the Grand Turk area as a Category 2. This will continue to provide winds that could be 90, even 100 miles an hour sustained in the Bahamas as we go through Wednesday, with tropical storm conditions likely and hurricane conditions possible for areas like Long Island, the Exuma area, Rum Key, San Salvador, and Cat Island. Obviously, for our friends here in the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, I'm going to be monitoring the situation very closely. For western sides of Hispaniola, the heavy rain, the inundation of water, the flash flooding, the gusty winds continue for Port-au-Prince and Lacaille. Significant historic flooding continues there. They've had feet of rain in some of those areas. Some of that shower activity is spreading back into the southern sides of the Dominican Republic as well. Expecting a little bit of rain over the Cayman Islands, but on the western periphery of the storm, not nearly as significant overall. Now, friends, you know I'm going to be live later today. This was just a video update to get you prepared, so make sure you have those notifications on. We're going to be going live. We're going to be going extended live. We'll have live coverage from the island and all the latest as we go through the remainder of the day. Friends, we'll get through this storm together. I'll keep you updated right here at Meteo Mundo. Please know that Meteo Mundo is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys, offering free consultation and policy reviews. They'll walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. Go to leanonmelaw.com if you like more information. If you live on Jamaica, please take this storm as seriously as you ever have any storm. Make sure preparations are rushed to completion or are done, because the weather is just going to go downhill the remainder of this Monday, and we're likely to start to see hurricane conditions move into the island on this evening. Friends, I'll be back very soon with our latest live stream of Melissa, and I'll see you right here at Meteo Mundo.